Hey everyone, it's aimed to share from the 7 minutes work once more. Bring you what should be an effective tutorial video of basically what Achron is all about. So yeah, basically it's a meta-time strategy game, or basically a real-time strategy game with, I suppose you could say, time travel elements. That's one way of putting it. And yeah, at the moment I'm just spawning in as a, what the hell, we're just spawning in as humans, I suppose. So yeah, this is just really to explain what the hell the game is about. This is just a quick skirmish between me and the computer. I'm not really going to be doing anything, just explaining. So yeah, basically it is a real-time strategy game with, well, meta-time elements, therefore making it a meta-time strategy game, according to the developers. And yeah, we'll just have a look at the time-traveling aspects first, since I suppose those would probably be the trickiest to figure out. So yeah, basically, what we have at the bottom of the screen here is basically the representation of the time window, and the time window, as you can see, basically it's man, it's so hard to explain it actually, because I'm just doing this on the fly really, but basically it's it represents a timeline. The present is here at this point, and yeah, basically this is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes into the future, and yeah, basically as time goes by, we'll also see negative 1 minute, negative 2 minutes, and all that into the past. So this top part here, so there we go. This top part here indicates how many minutes before and after the present these points on the timeline are. So for example, this is the present, which is where we are right now. If we go to say 1 minute in the future, or plus 1 minute, that basically will be 1 minute from the present time. So that's one way of thinking about it. And yeah, we'll just go back to the present, right there. And yeah, these bottom numbers here, they basically represent the absolute time that's actually passed. So yeah, basically as you can see, interesting. Anyway, yeah, it basically represents absolute time. So rather than being relative to the present, these would represent how many minutes have actually passed in the game. So basically, when the present marker reaches, say, this 4 minutes point here, then that basically means that the game in general would have actually been going on for 4 minutes. The present time, basically, so lack of a better word. And yeah, basically these little things here that are scrolling across, scrolling across the timeline, or basically they're known as time waves. They propagate changes forward, and yeah, basically propagating forward until they reach the end of this little time window, in which case they start looping back and then they start propagating changes forward. So say for example, if I go back 30 minutes and I select this guy for example, actually I might just go back a little bit closer to time, and there we go. So select this guy, tell him to move. So yeah, basically get him to move, and yeah, basically the that effect you just saw is the time wave passing by our current view. So this blue line indicates what part of the timeline I'm actually viewing. So if we go back to the present, then yeah, we'll just wait for the time wave to sweep past, and you'll basically see the effects of my actions that took place a couple of seconds before the present. You see the time waves sweep over, get that little wiping effect, and there you go. Because I made that guy move a couple of seconds in the past, by the time this time wave propagated that change to the present, this guy would have already reached this point. So pretty simple stuff, but that's how it works. And yeah, you can also you can queue up orders and all that. So if we move back here, we'll just queue up this guy to move a bit, and at the same time though, we can select him up a bit before we get him to actually do that. If we press Z twice, that should cancel all of his future orders, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe not. Crap. Huh. Interesting, he's still moving. Okay. Wow, as you can see I'm still a bit of a newbie at the game, but anyway. Huh. Interesting. Okay, I think I might not have cancelled it early enough, but in either case, yeah, you can undo your movements, or your commands that are issued to your selected units in the future as well. As in after your bit that you're viewing in the timeline. So anyway, if we have a look, we do have the blue line and a red line here. The blue line represents the part of the timeline that I'm viewing, so that's 1 minute 23 seconds in the past compared to the present, or at the moment it'll be say 3 minutes 35 seconds when it comes to the absolute time at the bottom here. Notice another thing that has appeared here. We've got this little whitish area. That basically means if we go back here, then we won't have enough chrono energy to actually order our units that we've selected to move across. Chrono energy is another resource in this game. It's a rather unique resource. It basically means it's basically the energy that's required to order units to move around. So the more units you select, the more chrono energy you have to expend to be able to move them in the past, and the further back in time you go, anyway, the further back in time you go, the more chrono energy you have to expend as well. So yeah, to try to mitigate that, you can assign your guys to command hierarchies. So there we go, we just assign these guys to a commander. These arrows point towards where the commander is. So if we just give this guy an order, it'll only use the chrono energy for that single unit, and of course these guys will move along with him. So try to keep up with him and all that as well. And yeah, as you can see, chrono energy slowly replenishes itself, even when you've got the thing paused as well. So yeah, we'll just go to these time controls as well. So as you can see, we're seeing time flow. We're basically 3.5 minutes before the present, but we're seeing time flowing normally, as in 1 second in real time, as in the time that you're watching this video is basically going to be 1 minute flowing in the game. Oh, sorry, 1 minute flowing in real time is going to be 1 minute flowing in the game, as I'm saying. But you can also get time to flow a bit slower for your observation of the timeline, I suppose. You can get it to slow down a bit, in which case, yes, you can see the scale move slower and all that. So that won't affect the actual passage of time, as in these time waves will still move just as quickly across, and time will still progress just as sword. It's just that your own perspective of time, I suppose, will be slowed down. As you can see, this blue, actually I don't know if it'll actually show up in the video, but this blue line is slowly going further and further back because it's our perception of the time is actually slower than the actual flow of time, for lack of a better word. And you can also completely pause it, and well, as you can see, we're now going into what's called the immutable part of the timeline, which basically means, yeah, we don't even have enough chrono energy to order this single guy to move around. So you can still chronoport. Actually, I probably shouldn't go into that just yet. But anyway, yeah. So going back forward there. Of course, we can play perspective of normal time, which means we're back here, or we can fast forward, which basically means we'll be our perspective of time will be accelerated, and we'll be going faster through the timeline than the natural progression of time itself. So yes, apart from these little time waves that propagate changes in the timeline, you've also got the present, which acts as a time wave, so it propagates changes just like the time waves. And you also got the this blue line representing me, which is the player line, I suppose you could call it, which also propagates changes as well. So right now we're propagating a change that we've made there. And of course, if we were to say move this guy and then to actually, no, we're going to move here instead. Yeah, if we were to move him here, then to go somewhere else, then that would basically be stuck moving, or rather stuck in that position where I've left him until a time wave actually comes across to propagate the changes of what I've done there forward to the present. So there you go. And you can also look out for the future as well. You can command units there, and oh crap, it looks like I've actually been defeated by the opponent at 9 minutes and 8 seconds absolute time. So we'll actually just have a look there. That's interesting. We should have actually seen damage dealt at some point, but okay. Well, anyway, we'll just keep our little cursor there, see what happens. So if we keep going forward, interesting. Not sure what the hell happened there. Said I was defeated there for some reason, but well, anyway, whatever. So yes, there you go. That's time travel for you. The human, there are three factions in the game. Right now we're looking at the humans. So the humans, they've got chronoporter, which allows units to be chronoported or transported backwards and forwards through time. They've also got teleporter gate, allows units to be teleported just through space. And we've also got a slingshot, which decided to spawn with our spawn location as well, which basically it automatically slingshots units to different parts of the map, but then we also got an advanced teleporter as well. So yes, I know there's quite a bit to explain. Hopefully I'm doing best job possible, and okay, looks like I've got some changes being propagated too. I just returned to the present actually. So yes, that's the time traveling portion just about under wraps. Well, that's right, when it comes to chronoporting, you can chronoport units back to this immutable past, which basically means you can send units back, but you can't give them any orders because you don't have enough chrono energy. And notice how that thing actually leaps a bit forward when you select more units, not because it takes more chrono energy to command them around. So yes, actually, I didn't actually go into what these bits on the left are. I might just go into that. So we've got chronoport, which basically indicates when your own unit was chronoported. So when you chronoport a unit from, say, the present to the 3 minutes in the past, you'll see a I think it was actually a darker yellow little line here than like a lighter yellow here, I think. Under attack basically will indicate the parts of the timeline when you're under attack. So for example, if the enemy decides to attack you 2 minutes in the past compared to the present, I suppose, or maybe let's just say at 8 minutes absolute, then you see some little red lines appearing there. Damage dealt is the damage that you've dealt to the enemy, so that'll appear as blue lines. Units created, those will be green lines on the timeline, so that'll show when you've issued the orders to actually create units. So it doesn't actually show when they're created, it shows actually when the order is issued for them to be created, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, we've also got resources, which is this grey thing here. Basically represents the amount of resources you have at any point in the timeline as well. So for example, if I was to go 2 minutes into the past, and if we were to start building a couple of marines, which as you can see is using, oh that's right, we need fucking reserves of course, god damn it. What if we were to research, say, okay, ground units. There you go, as you can see, a bit of that grey bar just went down because as you can see our resources just went down as well. So yeah, the actual production, all that, and upgrades sort of handle this similarly to other strategy games. You know, have different buildings that can produce different things for the humans anyway. And yeah, all the research is handled by the armory building for the humans. And yeah, as you can see, there we've got a few less resources here. And as you can see, this we were propagating the change ourselves to the timeline through researching that upgrade. And as you can see now, the time wave, the green time wave, is past our view of the timeline, this blue line here. And as you can see, it's continuing to propagate the change forward. So if we want, we can actually go back and cancel that order. Crap, I think I might have actually been too slow, damn it. Oh, maybe not. Oh, no, actually, no, I think I managed to cancel it. So there you go, now I'm actually going to be propagating the change forward, the fact that we didn't actually do that upgrade in the first place. If we return to the present, we should see that change being propagated in just a second by the red time wave. Yep, there we go. See, it's going to be propagating the change to the resources because I wouldn't have spent the resources basically. But the thing is, if we're in the present now, we try to spend resources, or say for example at this point, maybe once this initial change has been propagated already, we try to spend our resources. As you can see, we've actually got less resources than say at this point. So yes, there you go. So there you go, indeed. Quite a bit to take in, but really this game certainly is simply in a class of its own. So anyway, yeah, we'll just talk about the resources in the game itself actually. So we've got L crystals, we've also got Q plasma, so it's a bit like minerals and Vespene gas, I suppose, in StarCraft or StarCraft 2. So yeah, these containers here, they contain L crystals. You need resource processors to collect those resources. So it's a bit like the metal extractor, I suppose, from Total Annihilation. You basically have to put the resource processor right next to this little container here, and then it'll slowly drain the resources from the container. So these containers have a limited amount of resources and all that. So yeah, these ones are the resource containers for L crystals. These red ones are the ones for the Q plasma. And yeah, I think this map is called Cratered or something like that. As you can see, it has crap loads of craters in it with various expansion points and all that. Some of them are a bit more accessible than the other, and I'm presuming that my computer opponent is somewhere around here, and they haven't made an attack in some time, but which is just as well given that I am trying to explain everything that I can about the game. So yes, now that we've gone through the time travelling aspects and the general real-time strategy aspects, oh, it's interesting to get a teleporter there. Anyway, now I've gone through that, I'll just talk about the humans themselves. So yeah, they're basically pretty bog-standard race in this game. Basically, they have different tiers of buildings, they can construct different tiers of units, they have different upgrades for enabling different units, weapons and abilities and all that jazz. And really there's quite a few units and all that I won't really go into them in that much detail, but that's basically how they work. And they use constructor units such as the marine here, so you can tell them to say build, not to build various buildings, they use marines to build basic buildings, and mechs, they use mechs to build more advanced buildings. So that's pretty much what you need to know about them. Hopefully I haven't actually missed out on anything too important there. And yeah, and here we actually got various other things. We've got toggling terrain on the minimap. We can expand, also using the tab key, there we go, to expand and get rid of the minimap there. You can also display, change out the way the unit hierarchy is displayed, and yeah, we can even display their objective lines as well, so showing where the selected unit is going or what it's targeting, which actually doesn't sound like such a bad thing. Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good thing to display. Yeah, I think we'll keep that enabled. There we go. Pretty fancy indeed. And yeah, this bottom bit here basically, bottom right bit here basically displays information, various commands and all that are available for the building or for the unit. I think this bit seems to pop up here when you're actually building stuff or training units and all that from your armory or factory or whatever you have, depending on whatever race you have. So, god damn, quite a bit indeed to say the least. And yeah, as you can see, you can jump through different parts of the timeline pretty easily. And yeah, you even have you can even have paradoxes and all that in the game. So say for example, if I build a chronoporter later on, just go back to the presents, there we go. If you build a chronoporter later on and say we construct a marine from this armory, send them back in time and destroy the armory, then of course you get a paradox. Now the game has a rather strange way of resolving that actually. It's basically uses these time waves to propagate the changes between the two paradoxical outcomes. So one of the outcomes would be the marine survives and the factory, or the armory in this case, is dead, or the armory survives and the marine was never created and is effectively dead, I suppose you could say. And eventually, yeah, basically these time waves would propagate those changes until eventually the events fall off the end of the timeline. So basically, the leftmost part of the timeline, once events have fallen off of there, as in, say for example, if you do something like 5 minutes in the past, after a bit of time, those events would, drift towards back here, and then after they fall off, they're unable to affect the timeline there. So once that happens, then usually the paradox is resolved. So yes. Hopefully you understand that, but well, what the hell? I mean, it's not like as if you can't do a search anyway for more information. I'm just trying to give the basics so that you might actually have a bit more of an inkling of what is actually happening in Achron. So there we go, that's that for the time being. And whoops, I accidentally touched the microphone there, let's just stand there. Alright, so anyway, I'll be talking about the other two races in the game as well very shortly. Okay, and we're back. So this is a different map called Imperium. Seems to be a bit of a snowy map, a bit simpler than the other one. And I presume there's grey areas you can't actually get into. Anyway, just spawning in as, let's see, the Grecium this time. So previously was spawned in as the humans. So Grecium, as you can see, look a bit different to the humans. They got rather interesting looking buildings and units, kind of look like something out of Doctor Who perhaps. But what the hell, anyway, we talked about, what the hell? Okay, I think these resource processors are automatically going to get these resources. So yeah, basically that's what the resource processor looks like for the Grecium. We've also got the Arcticus, which acts as their main building, able to produce small Grecium units, but the main way that Grecium produce units is actually by some form of reproduction called progeneration. So basically they have three genders, Octo, which is this, actually no, that's not Octo, that's Sepi. Well, anyway, we've got Octo, Sepi and Pharo. So yeah, basically two of them can produce the third one, basically. Yeah, basically got three classes of units for the Grecium. You've got the basic ones, so that would be the Sepi, Octo and Pharo. You've also got the pod versions, like the Pharo pod, and you also got the Loligo versions, which are, well, basically they're much better than, or should I say they're much more stronger than the pod versions and the basic versions. So you have things like the Pharo Ligo, those various fancy things. So yeah, basically, SEP units are generally ground units that are good against ground units, usually. Oh no, that's Octo Units. Sorry, god damn it, they have so many ridiculous names. But anyway, Octo Units are generally ground units. Let's see, I think Sepi... I'll have to check into that actually. Damn it, I should have checked into it before actually going on with this part. Well, anyway, we'll find out actually when watching replays themselves, because you'll be able to notice what the hell they're actually doing with their various Sepis and Octos and all that. And yeah, basically, one level of units, whether it be the basic units, the pod units, or the low leaguer units, can basically produce the same level of units and units above that as well. So basically, pod units can produce low leaguer units, basic units can produce more basic units and more pod units, and so on and so forth. Speaking of which, looks like our opponent is actually damaging us in the future. In fact, they're damaging our species selector, which is kind of funny, given that we actually selected our species at that point, which means it hasn't propagated the changes yet. So there we go. Looks like wow, we've got enemy resource processors coming in to try to take our own stuff, which is kind of funny. So wow, interesting moves by the computer to say the least. So there you go. That's it about the Grekim. I'll have to probably here we go. Actually, I might just look at that instead. So yeah, the Octo units, because the more advanced versions are basically better than the basic versions. Octo units, as you can see, are mostly ground units, strong against ground units. Sepi are hover units, mostly good against air, and I'm pretty sure the more advanced versions you can get interceptor aircraft and all that rather than just ground units. And the Pharaoh are, well, in this case, it detects cloaked units and all that, but Pharaoh units in general, I think are meant to be just basic all-around units. I think you get some sort of aircraft variants of them as well when you get the pod and low leaguer versions and all that jazz. So good stuff there indeed. So yes, what a mouthful indeed. But yeah, that's basically the Grekim. And oh yeah, another thing that differentiates them from other races is that they can be upgraded to chronoport themselves, as in the units can individually be upgraded to chronoport themselves back into the past, so you don't have to rely on having your own chronoporters. That's pretty useful if I do say so, but I'm pretty sure that the Grekim have a harder time actually teleporting the units around and all that, if I remember correctly. So there you go. So yeah, it's just a single upgrade that I'm pretty sure enables all their units just about to teleport back in time. So pretty fancy stuff. But to offset that, when it comes to setting command hierarchies and all that, oh, fancy. But anyway, comes to setting up the command hierarchies, they have to go for an Arcticus building, so it makes them a bit trickier to command in the past, because you're not normally going to have the same amount of Arcticus buildings that you have in the present or in the future. Speaking of which, looks like they're still doing a bit of damage to us actually. Okay, so a couple of minutes into the future they'll be sending in a Marine just to try to damage my damn Arcticus. Looks like they're going to just continue doing that with their Marines, so if I were actually playing, I'd want to counteract that, but then again, if I were actually playing, I'd want to be setting up resource processors and all that to actually get these resources. So there you go, that's the Grekim, and yes, I suppose we'll be going on to the third and final race in the game, known as the Vekgir or Veskir or Vekgir, however I meant to pronounce it. Alright, and we're back once again. So this time we'll be starting off as the Vekgir or Veskir. God damn, we should check out how that's actually done. But anyway, starting off with as the Vekgir. And yeah, as you can see, they do look a bit different from the other two races that we've seen before. So yeah, basically their main building is this annex, which is able to perform various bits of research, as you can see. And yeah, basically they the way they work is by creating foundations. Oh yeah, and also I forgot to mention previously, the Grekim, the way they produce buildings is having their units morph into them. So kind of like how a Zerg drone morphs into a building. But the thing is that only their basic units can morph into buildings, but they can also morph, like different types of their basic units can morph into different buildings. So that's for the Grekim, keep that in mind. So anyway, now we'll actually go to the Veskir or Vekgir, and yeah, basically their buildings are all based on foundations. So we've got the annex, which is already on a foundation. We'll just get it to build another foundation I suppose down to the left, so as you can see it's going to be building a new foundation. These foundations are able to do various fancy things like heal nearby units and all that, and they also provide power, which is a very important resource for the Vic gear. Basically, if you run out of power, then certain special abilities of vehicles and buildings and all that stop recharging and all that, so yes, very important to have power. So yeah, basically they build foundations. You can then build a building on the foundations, such as ACCC, which is their control center, depot, which allows them to build vehicles and all that. And yeah, there you go. So the annex basically trains their pilots, should I say? And just see if I can find it. There we go. So you can get the Zayan Veer, Tef Veer, and the Shin Veer. So Veer would be the pilots. Class basically of their units, and as you can see, we'll just actually scroll over them. So yeah, the Zayan Veer is basic infantry, Tef Veer, or should I say the Zayan Veer pilots are ground vehicles, and yeah, they themselves are also alright against ground targets. The Tef Veer, basically they pilot anti-air vehicles, which includes, pretty sure it includes some sort of interceptor aircraft. Oh, actually no, I don't think it does. I'll have to check into that, but anyway, we'll see during the actual replays and all that. So yeah, they've got Tef Veer, and the Shin Veer pilots are Shin vehicles. So basically, it's a detector, or rather the pilot in this case is a detector. I'm pretty sure, yeah, pilots aerospace Shin vehicles. So yeah, pilots the actual aircraft, which I'm pretty sure would involve things like, you know, bombers and interceptor aircraft and all as well, to be used against other enemy aircraft. So yes, Annex trains the pilots, and yeah, basically the depot, I suppose we could just construct for the hell of it, basically creates vehicles. If you attach it to the Annex, as in right next to it like that, then you can automatically get the pilot into the vehicle once it's created, so that you can, you know, produce those vehicles straight out the bat. Otherwise, you basically have to, I can actually get to it. There we go. You basically have to create the make the Annex train the pilots first, so then you can get them once they're close to a depot. You can get them to whoops. Yeah, to pilot various vehicles. So there you go. So yeah, basically they've got 3 classes of vehicles. They've got actually pretty sure we've got 2 classes here already. So we've got the Pulsar class of vehicles. That's like the smaller, faster type of vehicles that's piloted, you know, both by the Shin Veer, the Tef Veer, and the Zayan Veer. And then yeah, the next class of vehicle up would be the territory class of vehicles. So it's sort of like the mid-range of vehicles. And the last class, the Helicon class, which you can't actually get to just yet because you need the let's see, I'm pretty sure you need the upgrade. There we go. You need the Helicon class upgrade to be researched at the Annex before you can get those. And yeah, basically, yeah, they expand by building annexes next to each other, although they can build their resource processors, and I'm pretty sure their communications hubs, let's see, there we go, Com Hub. So as you can see, it gives extra visibility as well as auto hierarchy to smart idle and all that. They can build those buildings anyway. So yeah, speaking of which, each race does have its own communications hub building, and yeah, they basically do have auto hierarchy and smart idle, or rather you can enable that on your units to make them take a bit of initiative of their own when it comes to yeah, creating hierarchies and yeah, just trying to be smart when they're idle and all that. So I suppose you might get mixed results, depends on what you're aiming to do. And yeah, speaking of which, besides the fact that buildings can be expanded by building foundations next to each other, you can also have the Shin Veer build a foundation, but it's much more expensive for them to build a foundation themselves. But the plus side, of course, is that you can get them to build a foundation anywhere on the map, and then you can, of course, use that foundation to build more foundations and more buildings and all that. And yeah, their defensive structures are also built on the foundations too. Yeah, the foundations themselves, they can even be upgraded. Pretty sure there's an upgrade here. Let's see. There we go, auto defense upgrade. So it allows foundations to attack units, and apparently it allows repel mode for slipgates as well, and it does enable building the bastion, which is their turret unit, or turret building, sorry, which would presumably be stronger than the foundation that's built on. So there you go. Quite a little mouthful there indeed. And yeah, as for the Vec gear, another thing that does differentiate them from other races is the fact that their units can be upgraded to teleport. I'm pretty sure it's only their vehicles. Huh. Interesting. So yeah, I guess it's just their vehicles then that can individually be upgraded to teleport, and that's that basically means they individually, as in you have to individually pay for each one to be able to teleport, which isn't too bad if you only have a few units on the ground, but really the cost can certainly pile up when you're upgrading quite a few of them to be able to teleport at once. But then after that, you know, they can teleport without needing a teleporter gate or anything like that. There's also a gate upgrade at the annex. Let's see if I can find the bastard. There we go, gate tech. That basically enables self-teleported vehicles without needing to actually upgrade them and needing to spend more on each upgrade as well. So there you go. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Vecchia have a bit of a harder time chronoporting, but that they would still have a they'd be able to build the slip gate. Okay, so it allows teleports and chronoports at the same time, so it's not too shabby actually. So there you go. Hopefully should be a good enough explanation of what the game is all about, and if you need more information, and who knows, you might actually need more information, then yeah, you might as well just do a search for the game Achron, and yeah, you should be able to find quite a bit of incredibly detailed information on their site. They even have a little wiki set up and all that, provides quite a bit of information, including the tech trees and all that for these factions. So there you go, a bit of a basic explanation by myself, but there you go. So they should know a bit more about how the game actually works, at least enough to be able to understand the commentaries that I'll be doing at a later point. So there you go, see what happens. So until next time, this has been Dame Dintovich signing off.